Marcos Troyjo, hello. Do you think Brazil, Russia, India, China, and we could say South Africa still have common interests?
I think they do. I think we're seeing a move from what we could call BRICS 1.0, that concept that was put together by Jim O'Neill, in which these 5 nations would play a very important role as the economic engines of growth throughout the 21st century, to something that has more to do with institutional building. This year, for example, in July, in just a couple of weeks, the BRICS will create their own development bank, the new development bank that will be targeted at infrastructure financing. They have also put together a contingency reserve agreement in order to face liquidity crisis. So I think they moved away from just being an acronym and a concept, and they have embarked on a very serious process of institutional building, which I think is very good for global governance.
Do you agree with people in Brazil who have been criticizing President Dilma Rousseff for not investing enough in social sectors?
In reality, I think there has been a significant amount of investment in what we could call poverty alleviation. But Brazil has not directed an important part of its GDP to investment as a whole. As a country, Brazil is only investing about 17% of GDP. Most Latin American countries are investing 23% of GDP. And those successful countries in Southeast Asia, they invest north of 35% of GDP. So investment in Brazil is a big issue that goes beyond the social sphere. It's an economic problem because Brazil has relied recently on an economic model that was essentially fueled by consumption. And I think that model has run out of steam, and we of course have to direct an important part of our attention to investment.
Many French companies claim it's very complicated to invest in Brazil. Do you think the government should stop defending protectionism?
It's a question of trade protectionism that one faces when one is doing business with Brazil, but it's also one that is faced by Brazilian companies when they try to do business with the European Union, not only France, but with the European Union as a whole. I think that a trade agreement between Mercosur, of which Brazil is part, and the European Union will do away with an important part of protectionism. But I think for companies that do business in Brazil, there's another very complicating factor, which is Brazil has to reform its labor market. Brazil has to reform and simplify its fiscal spheres. If that, which is Brazil's alone to do, is accomplished, then I think Brazil can really become one of the most competitive economies in the world.
Marcos Troyjo, I thank you.